Hi guys, it's Lizzie and Ian from the Academy team, and today we have set ourselves a challenge. Can we find a full frame camera for under £500?
And the answer to that, Lizzie, is yes, and I've got it here. It's a Canon EOS 5D Mark II with a 50mm 1.8. So today is all about remembering why this camera was so really good. It was a game-changing camera. So I'm going to look at why it was so good for stills, and Lizzie, you're going to test out the video functionality, and we'll see how we get on.
Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe and smash that all-important bell icon so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content.
So the 5D Mark II was a successor to the incredibly popular 5D Mark I, which was the first full-frame camera that was reachable for both keen amateurs and, of course, professional photographers. 5D Mark II came with a whole bundle of improvements. Firstly, a 21.1 million pixel sensor, a Digic 4 processor, and an ISO range up to 6,400. For a stills photographer, it was absolutely sensational and sold huge amounts right across the globe. Interesting fact about the 5D Mark II, at one stage on the internet there were more pictures from this camera than any other camera other than the Apple iPhone, which is a testament to how many people owned it and how many people were very proud of their pictures to upload them. So together with the 5D Mark II, I've gone with this 50mm 1.8 lens, which keeps the price really low, but doesn't actually compromise on quality. As most of you will know, the quality you can get from a 50mm lens is incredible. We've just got some really nice light, Tony, so I'm gonna go and shoot. Ooh, it's a bit wet here. I think that's about as close as I'm gonna get. So this camera is now 12 years old, and actually, you know, modern developments would suggest that when you're using it, you'd really sort of see that, but you know, button layout wise, Canon have not, you know, changed much of their buttons and dials over the years. So handling wise, it's pretty much identical to any other Canon. They obviously got some really good lessons when they first launched this, and have kept that right the way throughout their range, even today. Okay, so the big question is, why would you spend under £400 for this camera that's used and in comparison to something that's new on the market? Well, for me, when you buy something like a 5D2, you're getting a professional graded body, a magnesium alloy body, a weather resistant body, something that's built to absolutely last the test of time. It's a workhorse camera. It's also full frame. Now obviously there's split decisions on whether full frame will give you that extra quality, but it will give you a shallower depth of field, and for me it gives you much more control of the ISO range and less noise. In fact, they've done tests with this and a lot of modern cameras, and the noise is actually on par. Very impressive. So I've swapped to the 100-400 lens now, just to see how this camera performs when it comes to wildlife. A few birds flying around, so interested to test and see how it performs. Because one of the big advancements over the last 12 years since this camera's come out is the focusing system. There is no fancy tracking modes on this. There isn't any eye detection or anything like that. It had 9 focus points, of which the middle one, of course, is the most sensitive, and even just from using it for the last 10 minutes, you know, it's still very impressive. The camera performed at a rate of just under 4 frames a second, so by no means was it, you know, a sports photographer's camera. There was film cameras that could run at 10 frames a second, things like the old film EOS 1 RS. So it wasn't the quickest camera in the world, but it still, again, was that workhorse, and you could make it perform for sports as well as wildlife. But I'm going to give it a go and see if I can remind myself around how good it was for wildlife. Here we go. There's no birds, never mind. Here we go, and there's no birds. There was a bird just a minute ago. Big heron. Not there now. Who says you need a long lens for wildlife? Once you've got your safety gate, you're okay. Using this camera today and reflecting on really what the core great things are about it, and that's its simplicity. You know, it's stripped away of all the functions and functionality you associate with modern cameras that of course aids and abets the photographer or videographer, but actually at its core it's got those foundations, those principles that everybody starts with, especially when they're learning. You know, and it's got me thinking of how good this would be for students, this kind of camera. It's solid, it's robust, it's durable, and it gives you that functionality that's so important when you're learning.
Now, when the Canon 5D Mark II was released way back in 2008, the, I guess, standout features when it came to video were the fact that, one, it shot video, the first EOS camera to do that, with full HD video recording at 30p. And not only that, but it also gave you a hybrid functionality, so you'd be able to record your video and also shoot stills too. So it was kind of a massive game changer when it came to photojournalism, and it just gave a whole load of new tools to photographers out there as well. I personally absolutely loved the 5D Mark II. It was one of the cameras that I've been dying to get my hands on, and when I finally got one of my own, I loved it until it died many years later. Now, using it again has been relearning maybe those old skills that I had forgotten about just from being slightly spoilt nowadays with all the fancy technology that goes into the newer cameras. When I'm referring to the new technology that I personally feel as though I've been spoilt by, I'm not in any way trying to downgrade what the Canon 5D Mark II can do and could do back in the day. I mean, we are 12 years down the line now, so of course technology will have moved forward leaps and bounds. And even just in the last year, we've seen massive improvement when it comes to focusing. And I guess one of the biggest differences you'll notice with me shooting now versus any of the other videos that you may have seen us in is the fact that I'm using a tripod. I am not a tripod user, and that is because being able to handhold this video, we don't have the video functionality in the viewfinder. It is an optical viewfinder. I don't have a flip screen either, so to steady myself with such a big lens, I am using a tripod. And although when I first started shooting some clips, I was finding it really hard to keep up with the animals. Not that they're moving that quickly, it's just the ease of a smaller mirrorless where everything can be quite compact and against you, so you can steady yourself with all of the updates to the focusing, all of the updates to image stabilization as well, was just a lot easier for me. And to get my head back to basics and back to kind of, I guess, enjoying the art of filmmaking and the art of photography has actually been quite pleasurable today. Now, just looking at the back of the screen when I'm recording video, you can really see why it was such a game changer when it first came out. The video quality is the same as what you would get nowadays from shooting at full frame, full HD. Nothing's changed apart from maybe some of the features that make it a lot easier and quicker for you to capture stuff. And you can really see when you review back on clips just why TV programs and film studios used to use this camera, for the fact it was a lot smaller than those massive production cameras they used to use too.
Okay, so that's it guys, that's our brief look at the Canon EOS 5D Mark II, and you really can get full frame quality for under £400 with this particular camera body. Lizzie, what was your thoughts?
I absolutely have enjoyed using this camera today. As I've already said, it just takes me back to all those years ago when I used to own it, and I again am just getting that love back for doing things from basics and refining those skills. So if you guys out there, if you want to get into video, you want to get into a full frame camera but you don't want to spend big bucks on it, checking out our second-hand used range is perfect for that. And as we've seen today, the EOS 5D Mark II is still a very capable camera for its time.
Thanks, Lizzie. So yes, if you'd like to get your hands on a 5D Mark II, then you can do so by checking out our used section on jessops.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
What are you saying? Oh, that's it. Don't forget to hit the like button. Oh man, I just missed a banging shot. Okay, bear with. Let me get back to it. Let me do this. Let me sort my life out.
I don't know what I'm going to say.
Me neither.
Really not thought this through.
What are we saying?